Welcome to Badminton Unlimited, your weekly access to badminton action and beyond. This week, we sit down with former women's singles world number 1 and world champion Wang Yihan as she plots her comeback. And we find out the secret of Spain's recent ascent in international badminton as we speak to Spanish coach Fernando Rivas. Badminton may have gone through a period of rapid growth recently, but one thing holds true. China is the dominant force in the sport. And even as other nations mount concerted efforts to topple their hold at the top, especially in the women's singles category, China is not easily moved. It currently has 3 women's singles players in the world top 10. One of them is Wang Yihan, 2011 world champion, 2012 London Olympic silver medalist, 2014 Asian Games gold medalist, and winner of 20 Super Series titles to date. Badminton Unlimited recently sat down for a chat with the former world number 1, who has close to a decade of accolades under her belt. Born and raised in Shanghai, Wang's strengths laid more in sports than academics. A product of the country's sports school, the active student already knew the path she was taking.
觉得因为我在体育这方面，打球这方面是
I felt that I was more inclined towards sports. At the same time, I was excelling in badminton in my school. I was doing quite well. That gave me a lot of confidence in myself. My coach had also been very encouraging. He gave me a lot of tips and advice. He felt that I could be a great player one day, so he allowed me to take part in many important competitions.
参加一些比赛。
She dominated the national circuit and was soon called to represent her country. Tall, powerful, and athletic, the trademark of present-day China shuttlers. In 2006, the then 18-year-old Wang captured the World Junior Championships and the Asian Junior Championships and snatched the Badminton World Cup title from compatriot, 2-time world champion Xie Xingfang. From then on, there was no stopping her. She amassed title after title, including the All England Open Badminton Championships in 2009, which she wrestled from Denmark's Tina Baun. By October the same year, Wang became the newly crowned world number 1 in women's singles and earned herself the BWF Female Player of the Year award. Wang was a star on the rise and enjoying every minute of it. Her name was on every major tournament, both individual and team.
一场很难，真的很难，因为
It is not easy for me to single out a particular match. It is very difficult to pinpoint one, but there are a few matches that mark the various milestones of my sporting career. They were the matches from the 2010 Uber Cup and the 2011 World Championships. Besides that, there was also the 2012 Uber Cup. I also remember the match I played at the 2012 London Olympics very well, and the most recent is the 2014 Asian Games. These are the 5 matches that are very meaningful to me. They were at the different stages of my career. These 5 matches at these various tournaments reveal the ups and downs of my sporting career.
在这个时间段是特别明显的。
For someone who has been through several milestones in her illustrious career, Wang has also had to deal with disappointment. Injuries have seen her pull out of tournaments, including the Dubai World Superseries finals in 2014. A dip in her usually high performances also led to her world rankings taking a slide. Through it all, the former world number 1 has had to dig deep, developing a strong will to overcome.
我觉得更多的是自己。
For me, what is more important is to be able to pick yourself up. I went through this myself, so I can relate to the feeling of hitting a wall. No one else will be able to help you except yourself. You have to make adjustment to your emotions.
该用怎么样的一个心态去调整？
Victories and defeats are all part and parcel of a life of an athlete. In her decade-long tenure in the competitive scene, Wang has been very much a part of the evolution of the game.
我觉得现在的不管是女单还是其他的一些项目，
I think regardless of women's singles or other disciplines, the expectations on speed and power have become higher. Every team has their star players, not only China. Other teams have grown stronger and more proficient, and they have groomed international stars as well. As such, the world badminton scene has become even more competitive.
Having been part of the continuing dominance and superiority of China, we wanted to know what the secret to their success was.
I think there are many factors to China's success. The management of the national team, the help that we receive from our government, and the comprehensive training plans by the coaches. All this play a part in the grooming of China's top-notch players.
With the race to qualify for the Olympics concluding in May this year, Wang is on the hunt for one of the 2 spots allocated to each country with her compatriots Li Xuerui and Wang Shixian. The 28-year-old is gunning for her second Olympic appearance and is hoping to stand on the winner's podium this time round.
I
hope to qualify for the Olympic. As there will only be 2 women singles players from China who can take part, the competition between us is very intense. Of course, everybody hopes to be an Olympic champion, and everybody wants to win the gold medal for their country. That is everyone's dream, and that is my dream too. But I will take it one step at a time. For now, I will first focus on getting the qualification.
Wang Yihan is the epitome of China badminton. Hardworking, athletic, resilient, and focused. With 2016 only just beginning, fans will be hoping to see more of the former world champion in action.
Masala dosa all the way. I've grown up eating a lot of dosas, and I've just grown to like it a lot. I love Messi, and I think football involves a lot of fitness, so I kind of like that sport. I'm more of a summer person. You again put me in a spot. It's watching TV. Action. Beyonce. Oh damn, I'm scared of both. So, bungee jumping.
When we return, we speak to Spanish supercoach Fernando Rivas. She's the world #1 in women's singles, a double world champion, and the winner of 5 World Superseries, including the prestigious All England Open Badminton Championships. When you look at the impressive achievements of Carolina Marin, credit must be given to the man behind her success story, Coach Fernando Rivas.
Fernando Rivas is very important, just like the rest of the team. Fernando is the one who coaches me every day. I was already at this training center at the age of 14. Together we have set targets and have tried to achieve them. Fernando is a very important person to me. He's a person that at any moment, at any time of day, I can count on for anything.
When Fernando Rivas took over as head coach of the Spanish national setup in 2005, his analytical approach initially met with almost universal resistance. Having spent 5 years studying the science of badminton in Holland, Germany, and France as part of his postgraduate studies, Rivas tried to implement his new theories of training. With the Spain team indoctrinated in the Chinese way, a legacy left by their previous coach from China, Rivas found virtually no support for his methods that were drastically different from the controlled Chinese system of coaching.
It's a completely different approach, and it's based on science. It's a scientific approach, and it's based on my knowledge in sports science. I take some things from the more traditional systems. Since we're in Spain, we don't live in China, Indonesia or Denmark. We needed to adapt the knowledge we could gather and to a Spanish culture. Even though I was able to convince some people, it took a very long time to make things work. I ask one question. We are not champions in anything. We are just an average country. So what the worst thing it can happen? That we're still bad? That's okay. I'm fine with that. I can cope with being still bad by doing it in a different way.
Beside the successes of Myron, Spain were also crowned European junior champions for the very first time in Kazan, Russia last year. With Spanish badminton now at a level unthinkable a decade ago, nobody can argue that Rivas' methods haven't worked.
I think it's the only way we can cope with Asians. I mean, the tradition and the way they play, they've been there for so many decades. I think being smarter is the only way we can do it. And of course, I love learning about badminton. I love studying badminton. And when I talk about tactics, it's about what happens during a match. When I talk about strategy, it's how to develop in a long-term process. So yeah, I love both of them. It's a very fulfilling process.
To illustrate the extent to which Fernando's impact can be felt, look no further than the 2014 Women's Singles World Championship final. His protege, Carolina Marin, was aiming to become the first Spaniard to win a world title. As the shuttler prepared to serve match point against China's reigning Olympic champion Li Xuerui, she looked over to her coach for inspiration. Having studied Li Xuerui's playing patterns extensively, Rivas signaled to serve open. And the rest is history, as Carolina forced an error to wrap up a thrilling victory in the deciding game.
We do a lot of video analysis. We pay a lot of attention to the patterns. I'm sure everybody does. It worked. It could have worked other way, but it worked. So it's a good story to tell, right?
With the badminton world now sitting up and taking notice of his methods, does he feel that he can forge a lasting coaching legacy, a Rivas way that's embraced by coaches across the world?
My goal is that happens in Spain and we are able to develop more coaches so that we have more players. So that's my main goal concerning the coach education. Apart from that, if that goes beyond our boundaries and beyond our borders, that would be very very fulfilling for me as a coach, because I have developed this system.
His focus is firmly trained on the future development of Spanish badminton. But what does Fernando hope to achieve in his second decade at the helm?
Of course, we have targets for European and World Women's Team Championships. For me, more than specific goals, I like to talk about developmental goals, like developing a proper coaching education system, developing the network, the development network, like this World Champion program, and to implement it better in the regional centers. So these are goals that need support from our federation, for the political board, and this is the support that we are claiming for.
One obvious way that the sport can develop further in Spain is if Carolina can become the first Spaniard to win an Olympic badminton medal in Rio. If she can, then the impact on youngsters wanting to take up the sport could be huge. And Fernando Rivas and his team will be on hand to help them reach their full potential. Things are heating up in 2016. The second Grand Prix Gold for this year saw top shuttlers gathered in Lucknow, India for the Syed Modi International Badminton Championships. We jump straight into the finals with the mixed doubles. Having been promoted from the qualifying due to the withdrawal of Korea's Ko Sung-hyun and Kim Ha-na, Thailand's Pwavaranukroh Dechapol and Sapsiri Teratanachai took on number 2 seed from Indonesia, Praveen Jordan and Debbie Susanto. A tightly fought contest was on show in the first game, with the young Thai duo taking it within 30 minutes. But the world number 8 pair leveled the match, and after an hour on the court, Jordan and Susanto clinched their first Grand Prix gold title, 23-25, 21-9, 21-16, the final score. Moving on to the women's singles. World Championship bronze medalist Korea's Sung Ji-hyun was up against Japan's Sayaka Sato. Although the head-to-head favoured Sung, it was not evident as Sato took the first game 21-12. It was down to the battle of wit and fitness for both players after the Korean shuttler fought back to square the match. A grueling 1 hour and 25 minutes later, Sung clinched the title with the final score 12-21, 21-18, 21-18. The women's doubles next. Netherlands' Yvonne Muskens and Selina Peek went into this final looking to be the first Europeans to win the women's tandem title at the Syed Modi International Badminton Championships. But on the other side of the court, Korea's world number 6 pair of Jung Kyun-un and Shin Sung-chan had other plans. Jung and Shin stormed to victory. The final score read 21-15, 21-13. The stadium erupted as India's Pranav Jerry Chopra and Akshay Devalkar walked onto the court for their men's doubles showdown with Malaysia's world number 16, Govi Shem and Tan Wee Kyong. After defeating 3 top 10 pairs en route to the final, India's world number 36 had proven that they were no pushover. And it showed. It took the Malaysians 3 games before they could seal victory, 14-21, 24-22, 21-8. Govi Shem and Tan Wee Kyong registered their first Grand Prix gold title since their pairing in 2014. Rounding off the final day was the men's singles. Once more, the fans shook the Babu Banarasi Das Indoor Stadium. This time, it was for K. Srikanth. He was up against China's Huang Yuxiang. Twice a beaten finalist, Srikanth was hoping it would be third time lucky for him. And it was. But Huang did not make it easy for India's number 1. After a routine win in the first, Huang staged a comeback in the second game. But with the fans cheering him on and a controversial line call thrown in, Srikanth battled hard with Huang in the deciding game and emerged victorious with the final score 21-13, 14-21, 21-14. And that concludes another exciting week of world-class badminton. Next up, the Grand Prix Gold Circuit will be in Bangkok, Thailand. When we get back, we take a look at how badminton is developing in France. Despite the best efforts of Europe's top shuttlers Carolina Marin, Janne Jorgensen and Victor Axelsen, Asia is still regarded as the epicenter of the world game. The global pecking order, with China peering down on the rest of the world, looks well established. However, one nation with lofty ambitions to gatecrash the elite group is France, a country who, historically, have achieved very little at the highest level. But that miserable legacy could soon change, thanks to the influence of a man who knows all about beating the top Asian players. Former world number 1 Peter Gator has swapped Denmark for France, signing a 5-year deal as performance director and national coach with a mandate to elevate French badminton to new heights.
My job is to make a change and make everyone think long term, and maybe enter top 10 in the world or top 2 or 3 in Europe. We need to put up a structure that is long-lasting and able to produce that.
Gator is one of the finest players ever to hold a racket, having won 5 European Championship titles and the same number of World Championship medals between 1999 and 2011. He also claimed the prestigious All England Championships crown in 1999 and held the #1 position in the world rankings between 1997 and 2001. And the 39-year-old believes that his experiences and achievements can have a positive impact on French badminton over the next few years.
Well, of course, I have my experience of what it is to be a player. I've tried everything in my career as a player. I've tried every kind of environment, every kind of coach. So I know that it's really important for me to set up a safe and confident frame for all my players. They need to feel that the coaching team, the management team, everyone is working for the players to make the best possible surroundings.
For the players to make the significant contribution that Peter's exacting standards demand, there also has to be a cultural tweaking of their approach to the game, according to former national coach Fabrice Vallet, who is working closely with Peter in the new setup.
Maybe the player were a bit too Latin in their way to deal with badminton. So really Peter is insisting on dedication, commitment. In one word, professionalism. He wants the player to live, think, sleep, hit badminton.
One hugely important component in the long-term vision for French badminton is the work done at INSEP, France's National Institute for Physical Education and Sport, where the best players train twice a day and where many budding youngsters also live. But the benefits of facilities like this can only be maximized if players are coached the right way.
I need young French coaches to be educated, to take part in this, to learn from this. Because maybe in France there's not the same culture as, for example, in Denmark. So we need to start somewhere. We need to educate young coaches, to give them the basic knowledge, to give them the background and the support to develop as coaches for a long term. If I were only here for doing short-term goals, it would be a totally different situation.
Although much of the goal setting has been focused on long-term objectives, there remains the small matter of May's Thomas Cup in China and the forthcoming Olympic Games in Brazil to consider. Despite losing 3 finals in 2015, the mixed doubles pairing of Ronan Labarre and Emilie Lefel made a significant breakthrough with their victory at the Dutch Open in October. The duo rate their chances of qualifying for the Olympics at 50-50. But if they can maintain the improvements they have shown since Peter took over in May 2015, then the odds of them heading to Rio this August will improve significantly.
When they arrived, they put everybody back on track. So everybody was motivated again to push the other harder, to practice more, to be more focused in the practice. We knew that we were capable of, but we were not stable enough, as we said before, so having more focus in the practice was really important.
And Ronan and Emilie aren't the only 2 players whose Olympic dreams have been given a boost since the new regime began their gradual overhaul of the French system.
We would expect to qualify 1 men's singles, 1 ladies singles, and we are really trying hard, and hopefully we will succeed for the mixed with Ronan and Emilie. So if we do all this, that's just maybe the best year of French badminton.
Before we go, let's find out what's happening in the world of international badminton in our Badminton Unlimited calendar. Get connected with us. Log on to these websites for videos and photos and get the latest news and information on all things badminton. Missed an episode of Badminton Unlimited? We have all episodes available at your convenience on our YouTube channel, badmintonworld.tv. There are also tournament highlights and past matches to savor. All the best badminton clips are just a click away. Next week on Badminton Unlimited, we catch up with Indonesia's veteran mixed doubles pairing Liliana Natsir and Tontowi Ahmad. See you next week.